Hello, welcome back to another album ranking video. Today I'm going to be ranking every Bring Me the Horizon album from worst to best. You all know how this goes. We're going to start with my least favourite album and work our way up to my favourite album. Bring Me the Horizon have been my favourite band for many years now, so this is pretty much my easiest ranking to make. So coming in at number 8 is Count Your Blessings. This is the first album that the band released all the way back in 2006, and it's always been my least favourite. Nothing has ever changed about that. I'm just not a big fan of this old school deathcore. I didn't grow up on it, it wasn't my thing. I was like 10, 11 years old in 2006. I had no idea who this band were, so I have no nostalgic connection to this, as well as just never really been into the deathcore scene anyway. And I also just think this is their least creative, least enjoyable work anyway. This album was made by a group of emo teenagers, you know, making some angry smash music. If you're into that, if you were into that back then I guess you'll have a deeper connection to this album than I do, but for me, I feel almost nothing for this one. You know, Pray for Plagues is a deathcore banger, there's a couple of other enjoyable enough ones on this album, but for me, this is nothing compared to anything they've released in more recent years. Next up, I've got Suicide Season, for very similar reasons actually. I know that this album has a very strong fan base and a very strong bunch of defenders, but again, no real connection to this one. I still didn't know who the band were in 2008, so I don't really feel anything for this one. While it is a massive step up from the first album, there is certainly some much more enjoyable metal-y deathcore songs on this one, and we're moving a lot more into that old school metal screamo type music now, which is a little bit more enjoyable for me. You know, massive songs like Diamonds Aren't Forever, Chelsea Smile, The Sadness Will Never End, The Come Down. These are all great songs, don't get me wrong, but still I don't think they're anything close to as enjoyable or creative as things the band have done in much more recent years. And the fact that the band rarely ever play any of these ones live as well, it just speaks for itself really. I get if you're an old school fan of this sort of style that you're going to really love these ones, and maybe you only enjoy the band in this heavier phase and you can't enjoy any of the more mainstream stuff. I get it, but at the same time I completely disagree. I just think they've made so much more better, enjoyable music than this in their more recent years. Alright, next up. Now I promise not all of these are in release order, so just bear with me on this one. There Is a Hell, believe me I've seen it. There Is a Heaven, let's keep it a secret. Again, an album that I just didn't connect with much until much more recent years actually. I still didn't know who the band were in 2010 when this one came out, but I do think this album is a big step up in quality to the first two albums. Again, it's got some way more creative and enjoyable metal songs on this album. Singles like Crucify Me, Visions, Don't Go, obviously Blessed with a Curse, Alligator Blood, and the massive song It Never Ends. I really do enjoy this album, and I think it's a shame that the band rarely ever play any of the songs from this album live either anymore. I would love Bring Me to come back and play some of these songs in their modern sets now and see just how hard they would go off in this modern era of metal. I think fans would really enjoy that. I'm sure this one gives a lot of nostalgia to a lot of fans. While it doesn't do that for me, I can certainly appreciate this one for what it is. Next up, we've got 2019's Ammo. Now, I really do have a big connection to this album. I almost instantly loved it. While it did take me a while to get into a bunch of the songs on this album, I can now safely say that I love this one through and through. This album, without a doubt, is Bring Me's softest, poppiest, most experimental, and definitely the album that was received the worst with fans out of all of them. There's obviously some main reasons for that. The fact that the album isn't very heavy, the fact that Ollie doesn't scream on the album, but looking at how much bigger Bring Me got with just this album release and how much more they broke into the mainstream, it has only done good things for them. There are so many great and different songs on this album. Mantra, Medicine, Mother Tongue, Nihilist Blues, In the Dark, Sugar Honey Ice and Tea, Why You Gotta Kick Me When I'm Down, I Don't Know What to Say, Wonderful Life. I really enjoyed this album. I love how every song on this album sound completely different to each other. You're never really bored with this one. While it certainly isn't my favourite thing the band have ever done, I'm completely happy with the way that they went on this one, and I think they are as well. Next up, we've got Posthuman Next Gen, the brand new, very long anticipated album that we got in 2024. This album really did take a long time to come out, but we did get some great catchy singles leading up to the release of this one. Died For You, Strangers, Lost, Amen, Dark Side, Kool-Aid, Top 10 Statues That Cried Blood. Then on the album we've got a bunch of different experimental songs: Utopia, Limousine, A Bullet With My Name On, R.I.P., Dig It, NA. I love how different this album is. I love that it is really all over the place. Maybe it did take me a few listens to get into some of the songs on this one just because of how all over the place and kind of messy it feels when you're first listening to it. I think maybe a few of the songs on this album only do work if you're listening to the album in full, because there are interludes that kind of join them all together. I can certainly see why a lot of people might think it's choppy and messy. It is a lot of like experimental, electronic-y, poppy, emo, pop punk, whatever. There really is a little bit of everything in this album. Something that Bring Me have always been really good at is just combining all these genres and just making it work. Really good at creating these catchy songs while still maintaining those heavy aspects. There's definitely something for everyone. Although I can maybe still see why a lot of people weren't as impressed with this one. Next up, we've got Posthuman Survival Horror. Now, this album came around at the exact right time for me. It was right in the middle of all the 2020, 2021 lockdowns. I needed it so much. And these are the songs that just got me through that weird, insane time of life. You know, I instantly fell in love with Ludens, Parasite Eve, Teardrops especially. That is one of my favourite songs the band have ever released. Absolutely cannot get enough of this one. Then we also got Obey with Youngblood, Kingslayer with Baby Metal, One by One with Nova Twins, that really long Butterfly song with Amy Lee, Dear Diary. This album is incredible. This is some of Bring Me's best work ever. I think one of the main reasons this one is so successful as well is because this is the aftermath of Ammo. A lot of people were questioning if Ollie could still pull off the screaming, if the band could still pull off the heavy, and then they just came out with this insane bunch of catchy songs that certainly are heavy, but they've still got that catchiness, that modern sound that many people have grown to love, and they really just did something special with this one. It really did just come around at the exact right time. And I think the band will still be playing these songs live for many years to come. Alright, we're on to the final two. And coming in second place, it's Sempiternal. This album truly is the fan favourite of all the music that Bring Me have ever released. So many nice memories, 2013 nostalgia at this point. I think this one is generally most fans' favourite album still to this day. This was the album that really did explode the band into the metal scene. You know, this was the first album to feature Jordan Fish. He was teaching Ollie things, Ollie was teaching him things, and together combined with the rest of the band, they created this absolute masterpiece of an album. And this album just features so many of the band's most memorable songs to date. Obviously, Shadow Moses, Can You Feel My Heart? These two speak for themselves. Then you've got Antivist, House of Wolves, Go to Hell for Heaven's Sake, Sleepwalking, Crooked Young, Seen It All Before, Hospital for Souls. The list goes on with this one. It was an absolute breakthrough with the band. This album was also my introduction to the band, so I do really just look back on this one and feel nice inside that this is the thing that got me into discovering my favourite band of all time now, and it has so much meaning. It's exactly why I got this hand tattoo done last year. This album means so much to me, and if it wasn't for this final album in this list, this one would easily be in the top spot. But obviously, coming in at number one as my favourite Bring Me album of all time, you all know it, it's That's the Spirit. This is not only my favourite album by this band, this is also my favourite album of all time. It really does mean absolutely everything to me. I can't even describe how much. So many incredible, memorable songs on this album. Almost every song on this album is a single. From Drown, Throne, Happy Song, Follow You, Doomed, Oh No, Avalanche, Run, Blasphemy, What You Need, True Friends. This album really did do something special for me. While it is in no way the band's heaviest album, you know, there really is minimal screaming and sort of breakdowns in this one. It doesn't need it, but you don't miss it on this album, or at least I never have. I've never really considered the fact that it isn't their heaviest thing. It just is the best thing. And I feel at this point that I have such a deep connection with almost every song on this album now. You know, the beautiful love song that is Follow You, the emotional impact that you get from Drown, the absolute banger that is Happy Song. So many memories of just being drunk and listening to this one at parties, seeing it live as well. There have just been so many good times with that one, and Throne, and then with how much meaning Doomed has as well, True Friends, Avalanche. I'm just a huge fan of the song Oh No as well. I think that is one of Bring Me's most underrated songs ever. I really wish they would bring this one back to the set list for just a little bit. And the fact that this album is now turning 10 years old this year, it's scary and it's emotional, but it just makes me look back on the last 10 years of my life and think of this album mostly. Honestly, it is that deep, and it's amazing that music can do that for you, for your mental health, for your memories, for creating those nostalgic feelings. I just love it, and this album does that for me over and over. I could just be sat down talking about this album for hours, but I'm not going to do that. I don't want this video to be too long. Please feel free to let me know what your Bring Me album ranking list is. Thank you for watching this one all the way through. I really do appreciate it, even if you're not a fan of my list, and I'll see you all in the next one.